All right, now let's do this. I want to talk about the weather mod aspect. As we get into what has been up, what has been flying, we're going to look specifically at the April 27th. We're going to go to the timelines. And so this right here is, this is weather mod. The particular aircraft that we're looking at comprised of two different companies. The one that is that I just ran my mouse over directly right here across from me, that's going to be Weather Modification LLC. All right. Now, the one to the north is SOAR. It's Seating Operations and Aerial Research is the name of the company. All right. These are independent private companies. And again, if you live in Oklahoma, if you live in Texas, you need to be contacting your congressman. You need to let them know that legislation needs to be passed to stop cloud seeding over our areas because it is wreaking havoc on the ground. It's causing your insurance companies to drop you because your stuff is getting hit over and over and over. They're losing money. And so they have the power as well. So if you contact your insurance company, let them know, hey, look, you got cloud seeding operations. Give them a tail number and show them this video if you have to. Let them know because they have the power. They got the lobbyists. They can do a lot more stuff than we can other than we have the volume. And if we, ding enough people's phones and emails with our concerns, maybe they'll pass some legislation to stop this madness, all right? Now, continue on as we look at this. I want to show you, this is the soar operation. This is cloud seeding that took place at around 1 in the afternoon. Okay, you can see storms are already firing up. This is because, of course, they're flying in and out of that location. Now, if I push it over here to 6 o'clock, we'll let that run for a second. But you can see those storms intensified rapidly. Okay, now, if you get over here to this side, again, that's the exact same area they were cloud seeding. Right? And then that train that ran through into Oklahoma, here's the flight. That's the one at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There it is, seating operations. You can see the company name, who the aircraft belongs to. This is indeed the aircraft. You see, it's not something you think, oh, it's not a big aircraft. There's your tail number 2 in 4125G. Now, that's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's the first round of storms I showed you. Okay, now you get into the later one in the afternoon. This is anywhere from about 4 o'clock till about, let's see, 6:45 p.m. Central Time. All right, and now when I showed you, I go back to that map. You can see this is the flight location. Remember, up into Lawton and those areas of Oklahoma got some very big, significant tornadoes. This is what happened. Look. That's the same area they were doing the cloud seeding. Same time, right? And look how strong and intense those thunderstorms were. And then you had reports of tornadoes on ground. We'll look at that news article in just a minute. Okay, but this will continue, and there'll be loss of life. Your insurance will drop you. You'll have a lot of issues if they continue to do this. All right, I've shown you in the past. Just the simple fact that they will be cloud seeding in the same area or even south down towards San Angelo. And what happens is it will carry for miles and miles. We're talking hundreds of miles, right? That's what happened in Dubai, all right? So let me do this now. Okay, we've got that aspect of it. I'm going to take you over here to the article. Let's talk a little bit about these tornadoes. Catastrophic damage, at least 4 fatalities after severe tornado outbreak hits Oklahoma. And you can see the damage, what happened there. Now, look at this, 39 tornado reports on the 27th, down from 86 on the 26th. So you already had an atmosphere that was conducive to tornadoes, large tornadoes. In some cases, I think I remember seeing reports around on 26th where these things were on the ground for hours, like big tornadoes that just went from all the way across the state. Pretty crazy. So, but here are your numbers: 33 in Nebraska, 6 in Texas, 5 in Kansas, 4 in Missouri, et cetera, and 38 tornadoes in Iowa. All right, Oklahoma, it's insane. And the damage that can be done on these tornadoes is significant, right? You can see just destroyed towns. Look at this whole entire town just destroyed, all right? Okay, now there's one part of it. Let's go over here to this, and I want to show you something. This gives me hope, and the reason I say that is because I use my radar exclusively when it comes to tracking stuff. In fact, the historical video that I just showed you of the stuff that happened on 27th, that's my radar, okay? I have hope in the fact that you have a meteorologist now asking the question, did cloud seeding cause the Dubai disaster? The fact that they are starting to get their eyes on this and seeing what happens gives me a little bit of hope, because if these folks wake up and they're not fired for talking about it, then we may get a little more visibility to this, right? But check this out. On Tuesday, April 16th, I've shown you a video. We're going to look at another one here in just a minute. A whopping 6.5 inches of rain fell on Dubai, approximately 2 years worth of rainfall in a single day. All right. And then UAE Emirates has a known experiment with cloud seeding. Well, guess what? He doesn't know this. I can guarantee you he doesn't know this. But Weather Modification LLC is parked and camped in Saudi Arabia. All right. They've been there for at least a year, and they're the ones that are doing most of this stuff. Okay. Now you go over to this again. We'll go to the video here, but you can see this is Dubai. Look at the flooding, right? And then we went over this video the last time we got together talking about the stuff that had happened back on the 16th. And you can just see it. It was pretty bad, okay? But this is what happens when you add that type of ingredient to the clouds. People on the ground for hundreds of miles have the impact of this, okay? Okay, so let's move on from that. Back over here, we're going to get into, well, let's see. Let's just start covering the stories. Now, this is the flight again in 4125G. And this is Seeding Operations and Atmospheric Research, aka SOAR. Yeah, they come down here to Texas every once in a while. Somebody's hiring these folks. If you can figure that out, maybe we can get them stopped, because we could, give them a little publicity. All right. Now, let's look at Flashbang's schedule. Now, you would think 39 tornado outbreaks that this guy would be heading to Iowa and to Oklahoma to survey the damage, because typically presidents like to do that kind of thing, right? They go in, they make sure they get federal funding, et cetera. But no, not really. He's headed up to Wilmington, Delaware. He's headed home. And yeah, this is just par for the course with this guy. So look at this. Over half, and it's on the Daily Wire, half of Americans support mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Well, you'd think we'd be a lot higher than that. But of that, it's when you say over half, it's 51%. So it's just a smidge over 51% is not a lot over half. But anyway, but it was a poll of 6,251 people. That's a pretty large sampling. And the fact that they hit it, depending on where it really was sampled and et cetera, then that kind of changes the outcome. But nonetheless, yeah, we could see it. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. And here's why. $3.5 billion slipped into Ukraine. Israel aid bill to supercharge mass migration from the Middle East. Yeah. Hey, do you remember this from 2009? As, yeah, this is them praying to Islam and to their little G God. Okay. But tucked away in the, now, did this grow? Because I guess this is a combination. I know there's 60-something billion is going to Ukraine by themselves, but $95 billion military aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan is hidden in there is a $3.5 billion slush fund to open new processing centers for Muslim migrants. Yeah. And this isn't talking about bringing them across the border. This is flying them in, folks. I've shown you that. the C-17 traffic, the private charters, the airplanes that are going into JFK from Ramstein. Yeah, they're bringing them straight in droves, all right? In fact, if you remember, they actually opened up near Fort Dix a migrant processing center for Middle Easterners, right? And that was for the ones specifically coming out of Afghanistan. So yeah, we're being overrun. And that was 2009. I would imagine it's, not imagine. It is exceptionally larger than it was then, okay? So where does this get us, okay? You wonder why they're having so much traction in terms of these protests at universities? Well, it's because we're paying for their schools. We're sending them to the best universities in the United States, fully paid for scholarships, and giving them jobs and housing and all the other stuff. And then, of course, they turn right around, and it's all part of the plan. More than 200 arrests amid anti-Israel protests at universities. And you can see this is like the late 60s, early 70s, that summer of love, right? That's, you can't control it when you're letting them in your country and paying for everything, all right? And then you get Soros comes in and basically stimulates all of that, gives them a little extra money, incentivizes them. And then, of course, it's a university, so they're already left of Pelosi to begin with, right? Okay, look at this. Biden looks to prevent future president from ending Ukraine war with a 10-year agreement. Now, this, you may, let me take you back a little bit. Do you remember when Obama left office and John Kerry and all of them, they gave Iran like these pallets full on aircraft, just stock full of money, right? And we sent, I think it was like $400 million or something initially over to the Middle East, to Iran specifically, and we kind of hid it and sent it all over the place. Well, this is no different. And what that tells me is they believe that Trump is probably going to get in and get elected. They know that they can't, I say that. They will try to probably do what they do. I have to be careful because of the platform we're on. But nonetheless, this is what they do. They're trying to lock down Trump because he's coming in. They did the same thing with the Iranian deal. And of course, you saw Trump, what he did when he came in. First thing he was, reverse that, get our money back. There was no way to trace it because they didn't make it traceable. And so that money ended up, October 7th in Israel. We saw the outcome of what happens when we give Iran money and when we free up their all of their sanctions, et cetera. We are a key enabler for the Iranians, all right? And their mission is to eliminate Israel and eliminate us, and we continue to give them money. So this, no different. This is basically making it, from a deep state perspective, they're just locking them in. Absolutely ridiculous. A 10-year agreement. This is treason. Should not be allowed. But we know with Mike Johnson as our House Speaker, this would pass. Okay, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, let's move on.